Well, I think those are actually two questions. One part is, why is it so important to understand yourself? And here we're talking about self-awareness. And the other one is, why is it so important to understand your team members? Of course, they're connected. But the first thing is, I think, self-understanding. If I don't have self-awareness about who I am, how I tend to behave, what my strengths are, what my preferences are, and my style of communication, then I have no idea of the impact I have as a manager on my team members, right? So I need to be aware of, am I sometimes overusing my strengths and, pushing my communication style too hard on team members, which may actually demotivate them. It could be anything, if I'm a very, as we call in luminal learning, if I'm a very big picture thinking person, I may be, giving a big speech to my team about, oh, this is wonderful, we should do this, we should do that. But if I'm not aware of the impact on the team of that style of communication, it may not be effective. And in fact, some people in the team may be confused or feel anxious, worried, even threatened, because they feel like, I have no idea what Elizabeth is talking about, and so how can I do my part of the project or the task? So that's the first part. And well, let me just add to that. I also think that it's really, really important to realize that self-awareness and self-understanding is also a journey. It never ends, actually. And as we move from one role to another role, or maybe from one company to another company, many things change. Even as we go through different stages of life, our strengths and our style of communication may change. So it is a never-ending journey, which I think should be really fascinating and interesting for everyone. The other part of this is about the importance of understanding my team members. So I think what we generally find is that if a team member has a sort of similar personality to me, and therefore maybe a similar style of interaction and communication, and even a similar style of working, we just find it really easy and natural to communicate with them. The danger of that is that we then maybe have a bias, a positive bias towards team members who are similar to us. And that can be an unconscious bias that we don't even realize we're doing that. The reverse side of the mirror of that is that I may find team members who are rather different from me, who have a different personality, a different style of communication, even something simple like, are they more extrovert than me, are they more introvert than me, and therefore the way they connect with me is different. That may also cause me to have a sort of unconscious bias against them. I may start to think, oh, that team member is really difficult. I mean, I find it really hard to communicate with them, and and when I delegate to them, they never really do what I ask them to do. So understanding my team members, understanding the diversity of the team, and also valuing that each team member brings a different strength, a different style of communication, a different style of interaction, means that actually, rather than thinking, oh, some people are really good and some people are really difficult, what I can actually do is start to say, oh, each person in the team brings a different strength. And the more I understand about their strengths and their preferences, if I already understand myself and my preferences, then I can start to adapt a little bit. So my previous example of, if I'm a big picture thinking person giving, a very big vision of a new project, then I can think, oh, actually this team member is much, much more concerned and prefers to think about, what are the practical parts of this project? How do I structure it? What's the process I need to go through? And somebody else might really need to know the goal more concretely. So the more that I can understand in depth my team members, then the more I can actually adapt to meet their needs in terms of them understanding how they should do a task, in terms of making the communication more understandable for them. And I guess what we could add to that also is another third part of this is helping my team members to understand me. So again, using the same example, if I'm a very big picture thinker, I'm never really going to be good at giving very detailed explanations. So I need to help my team members also understand me better so that we can kind of mutually adapt to each other, and also make comments like, for instance, oh, I'm not quite clear about that. Could you explain this in a little more depth, or could you explain this in a slightly more practical way? And I can also from my side say, oh, that question you've just asked me is so detailed, I can't really follow it. What is the most important part of that question you want to ask me? So I think maybe there are lots of aspects of this, I think, but I think these are the most important things to enable us to really have an effective, positive and motivated team.